Hello and welcome to the RPA demo video. This demo is based on a simple process of recording treasury transactions in an application and sending the information of those recorded transactions back to the source. On the screen, you can see the version of this process known as is or human path. The as is process represents step-by-step process diagram before the automations technology were applied to automate any of these steps. In this process, we have assumed that a banking officer receives the daily report of bank transactions on a Microsoft Excel file and forwards that email to a treasury officer. The treasury officer's job is to access the email, download the attachment, and save it in a folder. He then opens the teller app to enter transactions. At this point, we will show you the teller app, which is used to enter these transactions. You can now see the teller app on the screen. Here you can add three different types of bank transactions. You can do a deposit, you can do a withdrawal, and you can do a split deposit. The treasury officer enters each transaction one by one in this app. Once each transaction is recorded in the app, the officer copies the transaction number and matches the total that you see here with the total in the Excel. The treasury officer takes this total and matches it with the total amount which is already there in the Microsoft Excel file, which came from the banking officer, to reconcile the total amounts. At this point, it will be important to show you the Excel file, which has all the transactions that need to be recorded in this app. This email, which is received from the banking officer, contains this Microsoft Excel file. Here you can see the daily transactions which are received by the banking officer and forwarded to the treasury officer. You can see 8 different transactions. The treasury officer, once recording each transaction in the teller app, would take the transaction number and record it in this column. He also takes the total computed in the app and matches with the net amount column here and records the results of reconciliation in the column highlighted on the screen over here. You can see either the result of reconciliation could be yes, no, or not reconciled, which means there is no total coming from the teller app and this reconciliation is not possible. Coming back to our process diagram, let's take a look at to be process, also known as the robot path. With the introduction of RPA, we can see that steps number 2 all the way up till steps number 7 will be handled by the robots. So let's run the automation and see the results. This is the UiPath Studio where developers do the coding and build the workflows. We will now initiate the workflow to show you the outcome of robotic automation. Let's run this automation. You can see the robot has activated the teller app and recording the transaction on its own. You can also see in the background in the Excel file the transaction numbers are being copied. Once done, the robot has sent an email with completed file back to the banking officer. Let's check the sent items. Over here, you can see the outgoing email with the completed data. These two columns were completed by robot based on the transactions entered in the teller app. This email was automatically generated by the robot. This concludes our demo video. It is worth noting that while we have achieved automation of manual steps of the process, the robot has also processed the transaction faster than a human would do. The robot that processed the 8 transactions in the Microsoft Excel in around 44 seconds. This makes up around 5 to 5.5 seconds per transaction. A human would normally take 30 seconds to 1 minute to process each transaction. The robot, you can see, is almost 9 to 10 times faster than the human in this case. And if you have substantial volume of transactions, you can imagine the impact on time savings that the robot can provide. Thanks once again for being with us in this demo, and happy automating!